Welcome, my Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your twin flame read for July into August 2020. I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle Productions. I'm really happy to be helping you today. My subscribers, thank you so much for following along, helping me on my journey. Some of you have been with me since the very beginning, before I even started doing readings on the channel, so I'm very, very honored that you're sticking with me on this journey, learning as I go. If you are new to my channel, please do consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell, because I'm going to be doing more live chats at night here on the tube of you. And certainly do feel free to comment, because apparently it's the commenting that helps people see the work. Right? That being said, let's get down to business. This is a twin flame contract read. We are looking at twin flame soulmates, not the same thing. Big differences actually, except that they are both a soul contract in origin. There are some links in the description box below that will clarify that, at least in terms of how I am reading it. Bottom line of a twin flame contract is you teach each other how to heal yourselves individually. You teach each other how to love yourselves individually, usually by withholding or an ability to love each other in the way that you want them to love you, and vice versa. It's not that they might not want to, they just can't. It's scripted that way, it's written that way, it's in the contract, so that you therefore have to turn your healing focus and your loving focus inward on yourself. So that's how we learn self-esteem and boundaries and self-worth and all of that stuff. To clarify though, you have more than one twin flame. You may have hundreds in a lifetime, and they're not all sexual or romantic. That's the definition I'm working with. That's why I see so many people suffering in twin flame contracts in YouTube reads, is because they think it's one thing when it's not. What you're really looking for is a soulmate, but that is explained in the comments, the description box below as well. Cool. So remember, this is a general read. Please take what resonates, leave what does not. We're not doing divine masculine, divine feminine. For these, I'm going to build two sides. One will be you, my Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign here on this side. The other will be the twin flame, so there's no guessing who is who, although it may bounce back and forth because twin, right? That's the idea. You're learning how to love yourself with this other person being a catalyst for that. Once you get the key of that, you start going, oh, that's what that one was about, right? And remember, it can be a family member, or it could be anyone, but a lot of times, certainly it manifests in romantic sexual context relationships, because you need a lot of twin flames of that nature in order to be the mate of your own soul. And that's what brings in your soulmate. So you need them. I know, I don't like them either. So you're clear? Cool, cool, cool. Remember to breathe as we go. That'll keep you in the present moment, so that you'll be able to feel what resonates and leave what does not. Otherwise, let's get up in this gig. I'm going to start two cards from the Caroline Mace archetype deck. One for you, one for the twin, and then we will build off of that. I think we're only doing 16 cards total in the spread. I'll try and keep them relatively short, but I can talk. Get it on. So let's do this. All the decks that I read are in the description box below. Let's do this. Breathe. One more. My collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please. Ooh, we're off to a good start there. Please, I need two cards in clarity for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for July into August 2020. Timeless as well. These are timeless readings. People come across them when they are supposed to. So what is the dominant soul power, soul archetype being developed within this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign? This twin flame contract, July to August, or timeless, and one for the twin as well for this Aries collective. What is their dominant archetype going on here? Who'd you get? Well, darling, you're the vampire archetype. Now, the vampire archetype it's very interesting. I've done entire classes. Oh, right, I uploaded that entire thing to YouTube. There's a video that I have up. It's about 2 hours, a lecture I did a bunch of years ago called Vampires and Witches. Witches and Vampires, I forget. But it's one of the two. And it is about the vampire archetype, among other things, right? And I haven't seen this one in a while, that's why it's a little, not unsettling, but just, wasn't expecting, no one expects the Spanish Inquisition. All archetypes are shadow and light, lead and gold. They are all neutral in that sense, but where are you on the scale of toxic to healthy with this? Shadow attribute, depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. Now look, not everybody has codependent wounds, but chances are if you grew up in the Western Hemisphere in the past 50 to, let's say 100 years, you probably have, right? At least you're carrying some of that. And there's a lot to be said about codependence and how that term has evolved over the decades. But also keep in mind that vampires have been glamorized and over-sexualized so much that people are really into them, not realizing that they're parasites. So keep that in mind in the shadow, right? Are you depleting others for your own psychic survival? Are you a chronic complainer or codependent? Now, no one can look in a mirror and see that about themselves because they don't want to see it. This is a very, very powerful wild card archetype, the vampire. Everybody has a touch of it, and everybody complains. This doesn't have to be a lifelong thing. But now catch the light attribute. I love this. Makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So to me, the lead is certainly the vampire, the parasite, but the gold, if you will, not the shadow, but the light is the vampire hunter or the vampire slayer. Buffy, Van Helsing. Take your choice, right? But you have to evolve into that. Vampires, essentially, if you want to look at it, the symbolic meaning, they've been cut off from source. So they can't access energy this way, so they have to feed this way. They have to do whatever this little dance move is. Let's see who the twin is here, shall we? Oh my God, this is straight out of True Blood. You got a vampire and a shapeshifter. Look, it's Bill and Sam. Oh, Sam Merlot stole my heart. Nothing like a good man who can turn into a puppy. I got HBO Max and I'm rewatching the season. It's really good. The shadow attribute of the shapeshifter, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. Right? Look, we all have to learn how to camouflage ourselves to survive, but at a certain point when it's being done deliberately, let's put it this way. Your family is divided between two different sides of the aisle politically. So to one, you are one, and oh, they're just crazy. And then you go to the other one, and to them, you're them, and oh, they're just crazy, right? But taking on not just the words of it, but the whole appearance, projecting any image, right? But the light attribute, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. And that I have a nice touch of. I mean, I was an actor, so shape-shifting became very easy for me. Gave that up because the toxicity of show business I just could not do. Not as an empath, honey. Acting classes were a nightmare while everybody else was drudging up their painful childhood memories. It was going through my nervous system. No bueno. But you can get that, right? That ability that you might be dealing with somebody here who really has the ability to either project that image depending on who's around, sort of like camouflage, if you will, but also someone who's faking it. Right? Being one thing to you, and meanwhile, that's not what's really going on. Or that ability to navigate through different levels of consciousness, to meet people where they are at, as well as to see within somebody the light and the truth, the worth within them. Now, don't freak out, because everybody has to be vampiric every now and again. My guides are really kind of chiming in on this one, because it is a monster. There aren't that many monsters in this deck, right? To think of. It's not like there's the Frankenstein card, right? The witch card isn't even here, but witch ain't a monster. It's a wise person, right? That's just misogyny at work on that one. But yet we also have like the zombie, not in this deck, but someone's like the Walking Dead that way. So just know that everybody has a touch of this. And in twin flame relationships, this is why I really wish people understood, at least watch Matt Kahn's video, Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined, because he really does put the twin flame contract in context of something that you signed up to do. That it's not a punishment, it's not a trial, it's not a tribulation, it's a contract that you came in to fulfill to teach each other things. Sometimes by example, sometimes through neglect, through withholding it, right? So you could be very, very hungry for something that this shapeshifter just cannot give you, and they may look like that they may be able to give it to you, but they can't. Even if they can give it to other people, that's just the way the contracts are written. So what we're going to do now to make this a little bit more interesting, now that we've got our twins here, we are going to take the Daughters of the Moon Tarot for you, my Aries, and then we're going to take the Mythic Tarot for the Shapeshifter, and we're just going to put 5 cards down on top of them. Fire, Earth, Air, Water, Spirit. Sort of like an energy reading for each of you of where you are, right? What you want, what you have, what you think, what you feel, and the voice of your soul about this contract, because it is the soul that agreed to the contract, not the personality. Jinkies, right? Nice deep breath. Here we go. My gods and goddesses, please. 1 card. No, we're going to do 5 cards, right? Element spread. Fire, Earth, Air, Water, Spirit. I'll call them out one at a time, please, for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. In this twin flame contract, July, August 2020, or timeless, please. What does this Aries vampire archetype want in this twin flame contract? Going to do them face down first. What do they have? The element of earth to get them what they want. Fire is what they want. Element is what they have. The fuel of the fire. Air, what do they think about this contract? Water, what do they feel? Yeah, feel about this contract. And what is the voice of their soul? I'll take that one. Nah, it was 2. Sorry, I have rules. I'm a Virgo. And it's the voice of the soul. That's really important, because remember, it is the soul that made the contract, not the personality, right? So please, please, what is the voice of the soul for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign vampire archetype? Okie dokie. Now, before I do that, let's just get the shapeshifter done. My God, same thing. 5 cards. 5 cards for the twin in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract, July, August 2020, please. Can feel that. Ooh, what is that? Please. Element of fire. What does he want in this contract? The he. See, I already made it a he. What do they want, this shapeshifter archetype? What do they have to get them what they want? The fuel that feeds the fire, the element of earth. What are they thinking about the contract? What are that one feeling about the contract? And what is the voice of their soul in this contract? Good. Okay. We got the cards on the table, so what I'm going to do, I think you'll like this, is rather than do them one at a time, we're going to do this. What do you both want? Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, Aries, you've got the 2 of Blades, so you want to analyze this a little bit more. You want to think about this some more. You want to kind of go back and forth. Maybe there's some communication there, but this is probably more about the different sides of you, so to speak. The one that is pro, the one that is con, right? Maybe the light and the shadow of all of this, right? So the analysis, like 2 fencers, each one thinking so many steps ahead. So you want a little more time for that. But the twin has the 2 of Cups here, so they want you. They have this, I would say right off the bat. This says this is a romantic. I mean, it's 2 of Cups. Everybody thinks the 2 of Cups is the romantic card. So they want a more of an emotional attraction here. Now, does it have to absolutely be romantic sexual? No. 2 of Cups can be that sort of emotional attraction that can be between 2 friends, right? 2 people who become friends. But there's definitely element of water moving in that you both have 2s. This could either be something, again, relatively new, like it's not an ace. I would think the ace has already presented itself if what you want is a deuce, a 2. Or this might be a second time around that you're sort of juggling, and there might still be feelings there. All right, element of earth. What do you both have to help you get what you want? Well, you've got the 2 of cups in the element of earth. And they've got the 7 of swords, the sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Okay, so this says to me that with this 2 of blades and the 2 of cups, then you really need to really analyze what you're actually feeling emotionally. And what the pantheons are saying to me here is that you can feel a feeling without acting on it. You know this, right? I mean, Aries are very impulsive. We get it. But to almost like analyze what it is that you're really feeling, because maybe there is a codependent thread here. Now, the thing about this archetype, and I could see how somebody could be very offended or triggered at the idea of being called a codependent vampire in a reading, let alone in life, right? But it can be that you've dealt with this before, and so you're really strengthening your ability to be aware that someone or something is draining your life force. And that's kind of what I'm getting here. Really acknowledge what are the feelings you have for this person, because you've got 2 tutus, you're wearing tutus? 2 deuces. That doesn't sound great either. So there's definitely a vibe here of not so sure, but also something in its early stages, even if it is a second time around, where they've got the 7 of swords. There's a sneaky, sneaky going on here. So they might be, you hear this all the time on YouTube, they may be watching your social media, but they want more with you. But remember, hey, look, I'll be the first to say, twin flame contracts, when they are romantic, sexual, are hot and passionate. Too hot not to cool down, too hot not to burn the house down, right? So I get that. There could be a very, very strong contract here where you both kind of feel somewhat the same, but I think what you want out of it is drastically different. Let's keep going. What's the element of air? What are you both thinking? Well, you've got the 6 of blades, manipulation. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're being manipulative, but it's on your mind. It's an air card in the air position, and there's no reverse for this card. So it's a 6, so it's about balance. So contemplation, spin, looking at it from different positions, counseling. If you think of the 6 of blades, because they've got the 7 of swords here, so blades, swords, same suit. The 6 of blades in the Rider-Waite, 6 of swords in the Rider-Waite is the gondola, right? The guy ferrying them from rough waters to still waters, or at least calmer waters. So there might be some mental healing work going on for you. You're really addressing things, and with this deeper analysis that you're wanting, I do recommend really kind of perhaps even studying and looking at the repetition of patterns in your life in terms of codependence. Now look, keep in mind, thousands of years ago there was no codependence because we literally had to depend on each other for survival. So someone couldn't go off and have a career and whatever because the tribe needed them to fulfill the role that was assigned to them. We don't have it like that anymore, or at least most people don't have it like that anymore. So it has been passed down through the centuries, and it's really only been, oh God, when did Codependence No More come out? The 80s? Melody Beattie. Look it up. It's good stuff. Usually associated with drug and alcohol addiction, but it's not all that, right? There's a lot going on there. That's why twin flame reads, man, they're just harder. They're harder to do. What's going on emotionally for you guys? Oh, I forgot to say, what they have on their mind is 5 of Cups. This would lead me to think that the two of you have had an argument, and it's on their mind, right? An emotional upset. Something was revealed that knocked some things over. The tea might have been spilt across the table. So that is on their mind if that's happening. And if that's not directly about you, like I said, this feels new or perhaps a rerun, then what's on their mind is a recent emotional upset, or at least one that mirrors the relationship setup, the contract that you two have going on. Again, this could be about parental stuff, replaying itself. Now, it's just you both have the 2 of Cups, so that would I would lean away from thinking this was a parent-child relationship because of that. But let's see. Let's keep going. With a vampire and a shapeshifter, could be anything. What are you guys feeling about all of this? Very differently. You're feeling victorious. So perhaps you have already done some of this insight, and emotionally you feel like, no, I'm overcoming things here. I am healing. This is the card of victory, the Seven of Flames, the Seven of Wands. Usually victory we see in the Six of Wands. In this deck, I love it. It's women galloping on horses with fire in their hands while galloping on cooling lava, right? So even the lava below the earth is moving in the same direction as they are. So there is a sense of emotional momentum here, but they've got almost the exact opposite. The Four of Cups, feeling bored, melancholy, or at least dissatisfied, right? Four of Cups is sort of that meh, right? Maybe a little bored. I mean, that's going to play itself out differently, of course, depending on who's watching this. But while you might be, hey, let's move on, either you move on or let's move this relationship to the next stage, we've got the Four and the Five of Cups and the Two of Cups. Look, I wouldn't say definitely this person is a water sign, but I'm going to say there's a lot of emotionality around here. Oh, and keep an eye on the complaining. Are they the one? That's why I feel like you might not be the vampire so much as the vampire slayer. Now, to me, there's also an archetype that unclassified, perhaps, the vampire healer. But you have to know how to heal a vampire, and there's only one way to heal a vampire. You have to kill the vampire that sired them. Now, considering murder is illegal, right? So go kill whoever made them a vampire psychologically, right? But that they need to do the work, because you can only kill your own vampire. Your maker, I guess. Oh, right. True blood. Right. Mom maker. Good luck on that. It's a lot of work. It is, and then this is as twin flamey as it gets, and it's only our first reading of the series. Oy, all right, so what's the voice of the soul? Oh, sweetheart, you've got the card of the Lovers here. You can love this person. Absolutely. Twin flames doesn't mean you don't love each other. It just means you can't give each other the thing you're supposed to give to yourself. Where other people, soulmates, can help you heal, they are teaching you how to heal something here. But it's a major decision you have to make. The soul is saying you have to decide, are you going to love you and take care of you? Are you going to do what you need to do? And I do feel like though you may have a very strong attraction to this person, you are thinking about it and you're turning it over in your head. Is this right for me? And know that in your emotional field, you have this thing about moving forward anyway. It's very Aries, that you won't get stuck in this for very long, but you may not realize what a life-changing decision this actually is. The Lover's card isn't just about love and romance. It's about a throat chakra decision that has to balance the masculine energy of the head with the feminine energy of the heart. So you have a lovingly wise, powerful decision, right? Where they've got the the Queen of Swords here. The voice of their soul, sort of that Aquarian they might be, though a lot of emotion going on here in the personality, in the soul, looking at it from a distance, as Aquarians will do. The Queen of Swords, people will say, is very cold. Well, let's say stratospheric and pulled back to see the larger patterns and connections. Now, I'll be honest with you, a shapeshifter will do that. A shapeshifter has to kind of pull back and say, okay, what am I walking into? Unless it's so automatic, right? When it's premeditated. Like, for example, I'll give you an example of a shapeshifter thing that's actually really healthy. You know you're going to a family dinner and there's an argument going on in the room that has nothing to do with you. So you, rather than play the roles that is expected of you, you go in as a very, very light, fun, uplift the vibration kind of place. And therefore that sort of insulates you as well as kind of blesses the room in that way. So you're kind of dealing with things on different levels of consciousness and meeting people wherever they're at. Oh, it's just so good to see you. And you sort of hug everybody. That's very shapeshiftery, instead of playing both sides against the middle, right? Playing being one way to one side and one to the other. So they might very well be taking this more stratospheric point of view and looking at this from a bigger thing. What I get, though, is you're the one who's going to have to make the decision here. And I just don't like the Seven of Swords in their Earth position. But don't worry, we've got 4 more cards to lay on the table. And if you're new to the channel, I take a picture of all of this, pop it up at the end, and see what else comes. So let's do what I call the center lane in between. This is the energy of the contract itself. We've got our 2 players, I guess. I don't want to call it that, but our 2 parties, I should say, party number 1 and party number 2. We are taking the problem suit from The Love Pack by Chuck Spezzano, and we're just going to ask outright, what's the problem here? What's the problem, man? What is the problem? Voices of the Ascended Masters, you ready? Take a nice deep breath. Oh, that feels good. My Ascended Masters, please, 1 card in clarity. Give us a little clarity here. What is the dominant problem here that is going on in this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, Twin Flame contract for July into August 2020, or timeless, please, because we've got a vampire archetype and a shapeshifter archetype. So I'm feeling that, well, all twin flames are going to have a problem that they are meant to resolve separately. So what is the problem that maybe both of them share on this that needs to be addressed? Ooh, 1 popped out. You're going back in. Feeling unwanted. Feeling unwanted. Now, here's the thing that automatically says to me that the 2 of you are not so much in communication, and if you are, things are not being expressed clearly. Things are not being expressed honestly. My sense of it is that you really feel like you can move on from this, right? And that you can overcome this. You just got to see it differently, which really does speak more of the light attribute of the vampire than than the shadow, I should say. But it feels like they really have feelings for you. But like I said, they're being sneaky. They might be playing games and putting forth an image to you, or perhaps lack of an image to you, in order so that you might get a little bit hungrier, right? That you might be a little bit easier to manipulate. But I think you're already moving your mind in a more healthy direction here. Hence you're, getting readings, unless you're the cross watcher here. But I have a feeling that who's really feeling unwanted is them. They may be projecting it onto you, or trying to make you feel that way. No one can make you feel anything. That is really the root of unraveling codependence. It's only I have to feel good about my choices. It's a mantra from the Matt Kahn deck, and we'll hit that deck at the end. We'll see what comes of it. Healing with the Angels Oracle. What is the angel assigned to this contract for at least July, August 2020? You ready? Breathe. My angels and archangels, please, 1 card in clarity for this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. What is the angel that they can call to here? The angel to help them with that feeling unwanted on either side, no matter who's watching this, the vampire or the shapeshifter. What is the angel that they can call upon for healing in this twin flame contract? July, August 2020, or timeless. Abundance. Now, the angel of abundance ain't just about money. I know that's sort of an automatic, isn't it? Abundance must be money. It means abundance of opportunity. It means abundance. It just means extra of anything, usually. But do know it also has to do with feeling supported by the universe, right? So to call upon the angel of abundance to please bring me everything I need, and I'm going to borrow from Matt Kahn again from a moment, in exchange for shining my light as brightly as I can. Now, why do I say shining my light? Because shining the truth of who you are, what do vampires do in sunlight, right? So if you're the vampire slayer, you might have to really speak your truth and feel your truth. Hence this analysis, right, about what you are feeling about this person so that your mind can see it in a different way and really move you into this place of feeling victorious no matter what this other person does. Which is sort of what twin flames are built for, right? To empower you no matter what they do. It was a really, really interesting reading here so far. But for them, if they are feeling a lack, right, this kind of says that there's an emotional dryness here with the Four of Cups, that feeling of, again, perhaps feeling unwanted. So, you know, you're going to have to do your part, my Aries, but if you're the cross-watcher, the twin here, the shapeshifter, know that this is about you getting what you need as well, but for yourself, right? They can't give it to you by definition of twin flame contract. What is the voice of the higher selves of all involved? Using, as always, the Whispers of Love Oracle, which I adore this deck. Take a nice deep breath. Higher selves of all involved, please, oh please, one card in clarity for both parties here in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract, July, August 2020, or timeless. What is the piece of information, the piece of guidance, the piece of grace that the higher selves of both of these beings, this vampire and this shapeshifter archetype, really, really need in this contract, applicable to both of them, please? Is that one? That's one. Do something for someone else. Give your attention to someone else. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean to each other, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that you do something for each other. It might be saying, go do a little charity work. Go break out of this for a little bit. Look, all you have to do to complete a contract is survive it, according to Matt Kahn, and I agree. Like, I have survived a really, really vicious twin flame contract because the guy died. Yeah, a boyfriend of mine, and we were already estranged. So I always wondered, am I going to have to deal with him again? Am I going to have to deal with him again? Well, not in this life, right? So I survived it. But also it is sometimes a twin flame, the lesson is to walk away, to say, no, I'm going to walk my path. I'm going to do what I do. In other words, Aries, if you are the vampire slayer here and they're manipulating you, which means they would have a touch of the vampire in there too, a touch of that chronic complaining and codependence to lure you back in, to drain you of your energy, then it might be like, you know what? I have other people who actually want to help me heal, that I want to help heal, because that's the soulmate contract, is you help each other heal. Twin flame contract, you teach each other how to heal yourselves. And it's rough. It is rough. You also see where your blind spots are most of the time in a twin flame, because like a mirror, they show you a twin reflection in some way, shape, or form. Let's get your last card down then. Healing Mantra from the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. Be really funny if it was Unraveling Codependence, but let's see what the Ascended Masters have to say about this. And these are the Ascended Masters of twin flame contracts specifically. Breathe. My Ascended Masters of twin flame contracts, please, can we have one card in clarity? The perfect healing mantra for this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. In this twin flame contract, July, August 2020, what is the mantra that either one of them can use to help them heal themselves, but they cannot heal each other? That's the idea of a twin flamer. Oh, if that was just one card, it would have taken it. What have you, what comes with shuffling with your eyes closed? What is the perfect healing mantra? Oh, my Ascended Masters, you're so sweet. Thank you. Processing grief. I had a feeling it was going to be one of the trickier ones. My losses prove how deeply I loved. Look, you might have had a dance with this person, But even if it was something a bit more long-term and then they came back around, know that you can process the grief, because my losses prove how deeply I loved takes that grief and transforms it from something that you try and medicate and push down and not deal with to really embracing it and allowing your heart to grow stronger as a result, because what you're actually feeling is love that doesn't have a place to go anymore, because that love is essentially for you. What an opportunity for you to love yourself and cry your eyes out until you purify yourself, which is when your tears become holy water. I've done it. I didn't think I was going to survive it, but here I am, right? And I'm better for it. Really, seriously better for it. Processing grief. My losses prove how deeply I loved. When grief is processed, you are able to notice the maturity you gained even when losing the people, places, and things that once defined your sense of self. As you process grief, you are able to celebrate how deeply you committed to love instead of holding a grudge towards those who left or couldn't love you back. And that is exactly how I got over this past twin flame. Now, I will tell you, because it's only fair to do so, and I may not say this in every reading unless they remind me to, in the video that Matt Kahn does, link is in the description box, it's called Soul Contracts, Twin Flames, and Soulmates Redefined. He talks about occasionally, rare, that a twin flame can transform into a soulmate contract. But it's written that way before you come in. You can't make it happen. It's something that has to unfold because that's the way it's supposed to unfold. So really, that line is so important. As you process grief, you're able to celebrate how deeply you committed to love regardless of what they did. And I feel like that's kind of what this is. Like, can you make this decision to really say, no, this was worth it because I learned how to love in a way that I never have before, and now I must give that love to myself. Once grief is fully processed, it can ignite a deeper commitment to love. You know that your alignment with Source is not a matter of what comes or goes. It is determined by how much of yourself you are willing to give. This mantra is ideal for opening back up to love, rebuilding trust, and addressing heartache. That's really lovely, and really that's this center line. All four of these cards, the feeling unwanted, the card of abundance, the do something for someone else, and the processing grief, it's in the middle lane because it applies to both parties, right? And it just feels like this is a very, very tricky, somewhat confusing contract, because just looking at the amount of cups on the twins side and the amount of blades, I mean, you both have the Two of Cups. Let me pop up the picture. It'll just be easier. Yeah, and they don't have any major arcana at all. So let's have a look-see-duck-see. Magic clap. So we've got you as the vampire archetype here. The shadow attribute, depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. And remember, everybody falls into that when they're tired, but is this a chronic complaining and codependency, or are you more in that light attribute, making you aware that someone or something is draining your life force? Because what you have in the element of fire, what you want here is the Two of Blades, perhaps to understand, like, what is going on here? I just want to understand. My sense is they might have disappeared, right? Because we've got this feeling unwanted here at the top of the center lane. So it might be like you wanting to know, and what you have in your element of earth to get you what you want, the element of fire, is the Two of Cups. And that is, there is an emotional bond here. There is at least an attraction. There is at least some sort of emotional magnetic pull towards each other. And keep in mind, they have the Two of Cups in their fire position. So there's a mutuality here. I just get the feeling that they're pulling something sneaky, but we'll get to them in a minute. And then moving from that Two of Cups in your element of earth, you have the Six of Blades, an air card in the element of air, what you're thinking. So you're probably thinking all sorts of different things about this, looking at it, well, maybe it's this or maybe it's that. But hopefully, and no, I'm going to say more definitely, you might be getting healthier and healthier and more closer to the actual truth as you spin it, right? See it from this direction, see it from that direction, particularly if it's being done in some sort of, I don't want to say overtly spiritual, but let's say therapeutic healing point of view. that would bring you to a place of emotional victory. Perhaps realizing that you've done this before or dealt with this before and you caught it quicker this time. And now, and again, if this is a person who has returned, that it's going to give you the sense of, no, this time I know exactly what to do. I didn't know what to do before, but now I do. And that feeling of victory, no matter what happens, you kind of know what to do instinctually, but still, the soul is saying in that spirit position, that top position, the lovers, Aphrodite, that though there is love here for sure, I mean, love is the truth of who we are, no matter how toxic a person is, we are still divine love at the core, that this is a life-changing decision and you may not see it that way. So though you might be two of blading it a little bit, a two of swords, back and forth, do know that this is a pretty big deal because it is a twin flame contract that you might be able to what's the word I'm looking for here? Cross the finish line on, right? Put that final nail in the coffin, considering it's a vampire archetype. Let's jump over here looking at the twin. We've got the shapeshifter archetype, the shadow attribute, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. The light attribute, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see potential in everything, not just anything, everything. And with a shapeshifter, I'm going to say the first thing that triggers me about that shapeshifter in terms of where my eye is being drawn is that Seven of Swords in the Earth position. That speaks of a shapeshifter, right? There's something sneaky Pete going on here, and I don't get what that is individually because I'm redoing a collective reading here. But what they want is the Two of Cups. They want this. Like they want to either reconnect with you or reestablish if you've done this dance before. But chances are there was a no-no that happened here, and maybe something that they're trying to conceal, or they are sort of checking up on you in some way, shape, or form. I know everybody thinks immediately through social media, but not everybody's on social media. Not everybody has the savvy to do that undetected, particularly if you have privacy things up. But what's on their mind here is this Five of Cups. So their mind is upset as a result of some emotional, one would say, trauma or change, a traumatic change, where some truth was said, some light was shed. Oh, that rhymed, and which means it's probably what happened. And therefore there's just some cups spilled. Now there is still one cup remaining, as always is with the Five of Cups. At least one cup remains standing. But in their emotional field, the element of water, they've got the Four of Cups. So they're feeling dissatisfied anyway. And I'm really getting more of the feeling unwanted thing on their side of the table than for yours, even though you both want each other, right? The Two of Cups. Now, could this be a friendship? I guess, perhaps, but it just feels a little too high voltage for just a friends falling out and getting back together, unless there's something really high vibrational, high voltage codependence going on here, which can be really, really, really hard to deal with. But keep in mind, with that Queen of Swords at the top here, their soul is kind of saying, pull back. See this differently. See this from the larger point of view. Gather your information, large picture, big picture, rather than too much into the detail. So we might be dealing with somebody who's being very cool and aloof here, hence leaving you feeling unwanted, but I feel that might be, the soul wouldn't tell them to do that just for revenge, but it might just be pulling back to again, reevaluate. And the problem here is feeling unwanted. I would say that both of you are, and if not, then one of you are is enough that it's dominant to come up as something that's really written in the contract. That when you're feeling unwanted, the key is to go within and give love to the child in your heart that feels unwanted. To any emotion that you don't want, it is going to stay in your cell tissue and linger in your energy field until you allow it to express itself in a healthy way. Whatever arises, love that. Wonderful book by Matt Kahn, just recommending it. And what are the angels here to help you with? The angels of abundance. So in terms of physical sustenance, call upon it. In terms of information that you need, call upon it. In terms of getting what you need to heal, to grow, to learn, and to evolve, probably surrounds you, but take the time to call to the angel of abundance or the angels of abundance to really show you that you have everything that you need within you and around you already. And the funny thing about feeling unwanted, I get people maybe feeling lonely with what's going on planet Earth right now, but unwanted is usually a story we tell ourselves, and we can't see how much we are wanted by the divine, how much we are truly loved by people, because we are seeing through a glass darkly. Now, the higher self is saying here, do something for someone else. Give your attention to someone else, which says get it off yourself, number one. I mean, not to be completely selfless and to ignore what you're going through if you're feeling unwanted, but there is a thing there then that says then go help somebody. Do something charitable. Even if it's just sitting and listening to someone, that hearing someone's confession in confidentiality, you could really get high off your own service that way, your own kindness, your own compassion. And yet, let us not ignore the mantra here for processing grief. My losses prove how deeply I love. That there is definitely a loss and grief going on here. My sense is that you two have either done this dance before and it has begun again in some way, and you're really thinking about, I don't know if I want to do this again, because you've already got some feelings here for this person, but I feel like you've lost each other before. In terms of this being a twin flame relationship versus a soulmate relationship, it feels like this is about to go around the same bend again. But that you have the opportunity here to maybe do something for someone else in the sense of saying, hey, look, I care about you, but I just don't think we can give each other what we really want. But that doesn't mean we can't love each other in the way that we can. That gives you the victory, right? That gives them the higher perspective of that Queen of Swords. That allows you both to fulfill the Two of Cups, to say, yes, of course I have feelings for you, but I just don't think we want the same things or can give each other the same things. But that doesn't mean that we cannot help each other out in other ways. And sometimes that happens, and I'm just going to put this in male gender, please forgive me, where you turn a lover into a brother, so to speak. And I don't mean genetic, biological, but I mean another brother and sister on the spiritual path all the way home. So yeah, really good opportunity for healing, which is what twin flame contracts are. So may the Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love. In terms of this twin flame contract, that any feeling unwanted may be healed with the help of the angels of abundance as they do something for someone else and process their grief for the well-being of all. So mote it be, and so it is. Thank you for watching. Look, this is why I don't enjoy doing the twin flame reads. The soulmate reads are so much more fun, right? Path of True Love reads, so much more fun. But these are, I think, cause the most rapid, let's say, spiritual growth, and which is why I continue to do them still. So thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you like. Comment too if you like. Otherwise, wishing you the very best and the very blessed of July, rest of July into August 2020, or timeless hail. Farewell, and blessed be.